All right, up next, the Mark Aniello from Effex. All right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Mark Aniello. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Effex. At Effex, we're transforming how dental practices manage compliance. Today's compliance is fragmented, manual, and reactive, yet the risk and regulatory pressure has never been higher. Effex is cloud-based, dental-specific compliance intelligent platform that automates your workflows, reduces risks, and gives operators real-time visibility. In the next 5 minutes, I'll cover the problem, our solution, traction, sorry about that, traction, and why Effex is positioned to lead in this category. The problem, dental practices are operating in a high-risk environment. Regulations are increasing, audits are more frequent, and expectation around documentation, training, and incident tracking keeps rising. Practices are juggling licensing, credentials, policies, trainings, audits, incidents across multiple systems, or worse, doing it manually. This creates three major problems: elevated regulatory reputational risk, significant staff burnout and high turnover, and lost productivity. When incidents happen, responses are reactive instead of proactive. The leadership lacks real-time insight, and compliance has become a growing operational burden rather than a managed business function. Effex solves this by delivering all-in-one, dental-focused compliance platform. We digitize and automate the entire compliance lifecycle: training, credentialing, incident management, audits, equipment, and documentation into a single system. What makes Effex powerful is real-time analytics, alerts, corrective actions, allowing practices to identify and mitigate risk before it becomes an issue. The result: simpler audits, reduced stress, confidence that compliance is always under control. We know the market opportunity is significant. Global dental practice software market is continuing to grow at a robust rate. Growth is driven by increased regulatory complexity, accelerated cloud adoption, and rising demand for AI-enabled niche solutions. Dental is underserved by compliance intelligence platforms, which positions Effex to capture meaningful share with the fast-growing SaaS segment. Our traction: Effex has real traction, supporting over 4,100 users across 336 locations and more than 100 customers today. The adoption proves demand, validates our dental-first approach. In a market full of generic compliance tools, Effex stands out by being purposely built for dental practices and fully integrated. We replace fragmented point solutions with one platform, driving faster adoption, stronger retention, and a clear competitive edge. Our revenue model is simple and scalable. Effex operates on a reoccurring SaaS subscription model with additional revenue from onboarding and professional services. As customers grow, add locations, and expand usage, revenue grows with them. We scale through direct sales, partnerships with DSOs, compliance consultants, and integration with dental management platforms. This model gives us predictable revenue, strong margins, and efficient expansion across multi-location groups. Our go-to-market is a multi-channel strategy built specifically for dental practices and DSOs. We're going to drive that inbound demand through targeted digital marketing and thought leadership, then scale distribution through partnerships with associations, suppliers, and compliance experts. That's reinforced by focused inside sales and referrals, accelerated through key industry events like today. And together, this creates efficient, repeatable customer acquisition. Our funding ask: we're raising $2 million to accelerate our next phase of growth. Capital will be used to expand our product development, enhance automation and AI capabilities, grow sales and marketing, and support customer success as we grow. Our model is capital efficient and built to scale through multi-location DSOs, providing high retention and expanding average revenue per user. Revenue grows from just over $1 million in 2026 to more than $21 million by 2030, with an EBITDA turning positive in year 2 and reaching nearly $13 million by 2030, driving strong flow and clear path to profitability. Our team brings deep experience in compliance, dental practices, and SaaS operation. We understand both the regulatory landscape and the realities of running a practice. Effex turns compliance from a liability into a strategic advantage. We welcome the opportunity to explore how it can be part of that growth. Thank you.
All right. Great job, Mark. Great job. I've had the pleasure of working with Mark for over a year, and you're making compliance hot. This is sexy. Somebody's got to invest in this today. Let's go. Any questions?
What's your cost, and what are you retailing this at per
Well,
or per license?
Yeah, it's a subscription based on the location, and we have 3 types of users. We have what we would call the site administrator that's going to see everything. We have something called a power user, which we look at the people that are going to be doing audits, incident management, maybe driving training and stuff. And then we have the users. We want all of the clinical staff in the system. So our current model looks at those 3 things. Generally right now, our supervisor administrator is at $30 per user, our power user at $20, and all other users at $5. And then we look to drive some revenue from obviously setup and additional what I would call technical assistance.
This may be a basic question, but how would you encourage practices to think about ROI? Is this in kind of increased revenue, decreased cost?
Not going to jail?
Fines?
No, I think that's an excellent question, because who is driving compliance in a practice? Billable hours, your hygienist, your assistants. If we can reduce that, and what we're really doing is reducing that burden. We're digitizing it. We're automating it as much as possible for them. And that's some of our AI right now is looking to almost build that, you want to call it a virtual compliance assistant. We want to reduce that number, and that's where it comes in. Obviously, though, we know the cost of non-compliance. We know the cost of having a breach, security privacy breach. So those are the things that we want to avoid that and have that disruption. So we see, the return on investment isn't obvious initially, but when you look at what is happening in the practice, in most cases, I'll be honest with you, compliance is not being done. So that's the risk. I want to make it so it's done and it's visible to the decision makers to see what that risk is and how to correct it.
His answer was better than mine. That was a good answer. Yeah. Any other questions?
I mean, I think it's a fair question, because the urgency for staying compliant only comes up when something goes wrong, and then you're in firefighting mode and fixing mode. In the interest of thinking about your exit path, I'll ask you the question I ask myself when I look at these companies and companies like yours. What needs to be true for this type of solution to be bundled into the standard practice management system that we sell?
Excellent question. We've demonstrated already. I won't go into the details, but we've integrated with a practice management software. And when we've talked to that individual and his company, he says it helps drive actually the sale of the product, because I don't understand why we have a gap in the compliance side. We love the idea of integrating into dental management software, and then also working with strategic partners. We talked about Uptime Health. We were able to integrate with them with the DSO and their payroll software. So we're trying to build that ecosystem where it's a single sign-on, and then all this data we're collecting, we should be able to drive decisions. So AI is going to be very instrumental in gathering that data and giving real-time data to the operations people and to the practice so that they can drive good decision-making.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. To be able to make compliance, to position it from an afterthought to being ambient, right? To even, dare I say, being a competitive edge. I don't know how many patients would go into a practice and pay more because it's compliant. Right.
No,
yeah,
but-
that's not the state, but there's ways for you to think about it, and I see you going down that path where you're ambient and you're part of the competitive positioning of the company rather than.
One of the problems we're seeing right now, and I think all dental practices will talk about, is the high turnover. What are today's technicians and clinical experts looking for? They're looking for technology. They don't want to do it on paper. They don't want to do it on spreadsheets. They want that technology to be first rate and be able to drive, working at a place where they really have the technology so they can do what? Deal with the patients and do what they, learn their practice to do.
Yeah, there's components around credentialing and education and all kinds of other things. But all right, let's give it up for Mark. Great job, Mark.